Imagine this. You wake up one morning, walk into your bathroom, turn on the faucet to brush your teeth, and the water just sits there. It pools, it rises, it refuses to drain. You try again in the kitchen sink. Same story. You check the bathtub, completely backed up, and then the panic sets in, because somewhere in the back of your mind you're already calculating the cost of calling a plumber. $150 just to show up, another $200 for labor, maybe $100 more for parts. Before you know it, you're staring down a $400 bill for a problem that started with nothing more than a little bit of hair and some soap scum. That is the reality that millions of homeowners face every single year, and it is a reality that the plumbing industry has done absolutely nothing to fix. Because why would they? They are making money every time your drain clogs. But here is what they do not want you to know. There's a $3 item sitting on the shelf at nearly every hardware store, every big box home improvement retailer, and even some dollar stores across the country. And this single item can fix 95% of the clogged drains you will ever encounter in your home. Not some of them, not half of them, 95% of them. We are talking kitchen sinks, bathroom sinks, shower drains, bathtub drains, and in some cases even slow floor drains. And once you know how to use it correctly, you will never pay a plumber for a basic drain clog again. Never. That is the promise we are making at the start of this video, and by the time you reach the end, you will have everything you need to walk into your local hardware store, spend $3, and solve a problem that has been draining your wallet for years. Now, before we get into what this item is and exactly how to use it, we need to talk about why drains clog in the first place. Because understanding the enemy is the first step to defeating it. And once you understand what is actually happening inside your pipes, you will see exactly why this $3 solution works so incredibly well. Most people think a clogged drain is just one big mass of junk sitting somewhere in the pipe. That is not how it works. A clog forms in stages. In a bathroom sink or shower, the process typically starts with hair. A few strands at first, caught on the drain stopper or the edge of the drain cover. Those strands catch more strands. The hair tangles together into a loose net. Then soap residue, which is essentially made of fat and chemicals, starts to coat that hair net. The coating hardens slightly. Skin cells and other organic debris start to stick to the coated hair. Over weeks and months, that loose net becomes a dense, tangled, grimy mass that sits just below the drain opening and acts like a physical plug inside your pipe. In a kitchen sink, the process is slightly different but equally predictable. Grease and cooking oils are the primary culprits. When you pour hot, greasy water down the drain, the grease is still liquid and it flows through the pipe without a problem. But as it travels further and the pipe temperature drops, the grease begins to solidify and cling to the walls of the pipe. Over time, layer after layer of grease builds up, narrowing the diameter of the pipe. Eventually, food particles and other debris get trapped in the grease buildup, and the pipe becomes so restricted that water can barely pass through. This is why kitchen sink clogs tend to feel different from bathroom clogs. They are softer, greasier, and often located further down in the drain system rather than right at the top. Understanding this matters because it tells you exactly what tool you need. You do not need chemical drain cleaner, which is corrosive enough to damage your pipes over time and is genuinely dangerous to handle. You do not need a heavy-duty motorized drain snake, which costs anywhere from $50 to $300 to rent or buy. You do not need a plumber who will charge you more per hour than most lawyers. What you need is something that can physically grab the material causing the clog and pull it out of the pipe. And that is exactly what our $3 hero is designed to do. The item is called a drain snake, a drain auger, or more specifically in this case, a plastic hair clog remover. You may have also heard it called a zip-it tool, a drain cleaning stick, or a barbed drain cleaner. It goes by many names, but the design is almost identical no matter which brand you pick up. It is a long, thin, flexible plastic strip, usually somewhere between 18 and 24 inches long. Along both sides of this strip are small barbs or notches, angled in one direction. These barbs are the key to the entire tool. When you push the strip down into a drain, the barbs flex backward and allow the tool to slide past debris. But when you pull the strip back out, those barbs catch onto anything in their path and drag it out with them. It is an elegantly simple design. It requires no electricity, no special skills, no protective gear, and no previous plumbing experience. And as we said, it costs about $3. Now, if you have walked past this tool before without picking it up, you are not alone. Most people see it hanging on the impulse buy rack near the checkout aisle and assume it is a cheap gimmick. It looks almost too simple to work. Surely something this basic cannot solve a problem that causes people to spend hundreds of dollars on plumbers. But that assumption is completely wrong, and here is why. The most common type of clog, the kind that makes your bathroom sink drain slowly, or your shower fill up with water while you are still standing in it, is a surface or near-surface clog. It is sitting right there just below the drain opening, often caught on the stopper mechanism or in the first few inches of the pipe. It is not deep in the walls. It is not in the main sewer line, it is right where your drain snake can easily reach it, and that is why the tool works so well on the vast majority of household drain clogs. Let us walk through the process now, step by step, so you know exactly what to do when you get home with your $3 drain snake. We will start with the most common scenario, which is a slow draining or completely blocked bathroom sink. The first thing you want to do is look at your drain. Most bathroom sinks have a drain stopper, which is that little plug that you can push down to hold water in the sink and lift up to drain it. This stopper is almost always attached to a rod that connects to a pivot mechanism under the sink. You have two options for dealing with it. Option one is to simply pull the stopper straight up. On many sinks, the stopper just lifts right out without any tools at all. Give it a tug and see if it comes free. If it does, set it aside. Option two is to reach past the stopper with your drain snake without removing it. Many plastic drain snakes are thin enough to slide into the gaps around the stopper. You can try this approach if removing the stopper is not immediately obvious. Once you have access to the drain opening, take your plastic drain snake in your dominant hand. You do not need to grip it hard. Hold it loosely and begin feeding it down into the drain. Push it down slowly, wiggling it slightly from side to side as you go. You will feel some resistance as it moves through bends in the pipe and as it makes contact with any debris. Keep pushing until you have fed several inches of the snake into the drain. Do not force it if you encounter strong resistance. Instead, wiggle and rotate the snake gently. The flexible plastic will navigate around the drain stopper mechanism and through the curved trap section of the pipe, which is that U-shaped bend you can see under most sinks. When you feel the snake stop moving forward or feel it hit something that feels soft and dense rather than the hard wall of the pipe, you have likely reached the clog. Now comes the important part. Do not try to push the clog further down. The goal is not to push the clog deeper into your plumbing, the goal is to pull it out. So once you feel you have made contact with the clog, begin rotating the drain snake slightly while pulling it back towards you. Rotate it in one direction a quarter turn clockwise and then begin slowly withdrawing it from the drain. Pull steadily, not quickly. If you yank it out too fast, the clog material can fall off the barbs before you get it out of the drain. Pull it out slowly and evenly. What comes out will not be pretty. We are going to be honest with you here. It is going to be a matted, dark, probably slimy mass of hair, soap residue, and general organic buildup. It is going to look and possibly smell unpleasant. This is completely normal. This is the stuff that was living in your drain and blocking your water flow. Use a paper towel or a plastic bag to wipe the clog material off the snake and dispose of it in the trash. Do not try to wash it back down the drain. Now push the snake back in and repeat the process. Go a little deeper this time. Pull it back out. You will likely pull out more material on the second pass and possibly a third. Keep going until the snake comes back out clean or nearly clean. This tells you that you have removed the primary blockage from that section of the pipe. Once you feel like you have gotten most of the clog material out, run hot water down the drain for 30 to 60 seconds. Not boiling water, because very hot water can damage certain types of plastic pipe fittings, but water from your hot water tap run at full temperature and full pressure. Watch the drain carefully. Is the water draining faster now? Is it draining completely freely? In most cases, after using the drain snake and flushing with hot water, your bathroom sink will drain as well as it did when it was brand new. The clog is gone and you spent $3 and maybe 10 minutes of your time to fix it. If the drain is still slow after your first session with the snake, do not give up. Try going deeper with the snake on subsequent passes. Also consider that the stopper mechanism itself may be the primary culprit. The pivot rod and stopper hardware collect an enormous amount of hair and debris over time. If you look under your sink and see a small horizontal rod entering the drain pipe from the back, that is the stopper mechanism. You can unscrew the plastic or metal cap that holds it in place, pull the rod out, and clean it off thoroughly. Once that rod is clean and back in place, try the drain snake again. Often this combination of cleaning the stopper mechanism and using the drain snake is enough to solve even stubborn bathroom sink clogs completely. Now let us talk about the shower drain and the bathtub drain, because these are the other two places where this $3 tool absolutely earns its reputation. Shower drain clogs are almost always caused by hair, and they tend to build up faster than bathroom sink clogs because more water flows through them and the drainage area is larger. Start by removing the drain cover if your shower has one. Most shower drain covers either unscrew with a single screw in the center, or they simply pop up with gentle pressure from a flat screwdriver inserted under the edge. Once the cover is off, look into the drain. You may already be able to see the top of the clog right there at the surface. In some cases, you can literally grab the top of the clog with your fingers and pull a significant portion of it out before even using the snake. If you are comfortable doing this, go ahead. The more you can pull out manually, the easier the rest of the job will be. With the drain cover removed, insert your plastic drain snake into the drain opening just as we described for the sink. Push it down, feel for the clog, and pull it back out with a slow rotating motion. Shower drain clogs can sometimes be larger and more compacted than sink clogs because of the volume of hair that passes through them. You may need to make more passes and you may pull out more material. Again, dispose of it in the trash. Once you feel like you have cleared the visible blockage, flush the drain with hot water and replace the drain cover. Bathtub drains work similarly, but they have their own complication. Most bathtubs have a two-part drain system. There is the visible drain opening at the bottom of the tub, and there is also an overflow plate near the top of the tub, which is usually a chrome or plastic plate with a lever or a small hole. The clog can occur in either location or in the connecting pipe between them. If running your drain snake through the bottom drain does not fully resolve the problem, try accessing the drain system through the overflow plate. You can unscrew the overflow plate and insert your drain snake through that opening to access the section of pipe that connects the overflow to the main drain. This is an area where a significant amount of hair and soap residue can accumulate, especially on the stopper mechanism that is attached to the overflow assembly. The bathtub approach requires a little more patience, but the basic principle is exactly the same. Insert the snake, feel for the clog, pull it out, flush with hot water, and test. In the vast majority of cases, this process will fully restore your bathtub drain to normal operation. Now let us spend a moment on kitchen sinks, because the approach is slightly different here and there are a few things you need to know before you start. Kitchen sink clogs are typically caused by grease, food particles, and soap buildup rather than hair. This means they have a different texture and consistency than bathroom clogs. They tend to be softer and more coating-like rather than solid and tangled. In many cases, the grease buildup is coating the walls of the pipe rather than forming a solid plug, which means a plastic drain snake alone may not be the complete solution. For a kitchen sink, start by trying the drain snake anyway. Insert it through the drain opening, push it down through the pipe, feel for resistance, and pull it back out. You may or may not pull out visible debris. In kitchen sinks, the clog is often further down in the trap and the horizontal pipe leading to the wall, so you may need to push your snake further than you would in a bathroom sink. After using the snake, here is the additional step that makes a real difference in kitchens. Boil a full pot or kettle of water. Then, working in 3 stages, pour roughly a third of the boiling water down the drain slowly. Wait 30 seconds, pour another third, wait another 30 seconds, pour the last third. This hot water treatment melts and flushes the grease coating that is narrowing your pipe walls. It is not going to fix a fully blocked drain on its own, but when used after physically breaking up the clog with the snake, it is highly effective at flushing away the remaining grease residue and getting the drain back to full flow. There is an important exception here. If you have PVC or plastic drain pipes, do not use fully boiling water. The extreme temperature can soften and potentially warp plastic pipes and fittings. Instead, use the hottest water from your tap rather than water from a boiling kettle. This is still hot enough to melt most kitchen grease, but cool enough not to damage your plumbing. Now, we promised you 95% of drain clogs, and we want to be completely transparent with you about that remaining 5%, because it is important that you know the limits of this tool so you can recognize when you genuinely do need professional help. The plastic drain snake works perfectly on clogs that are near the drain opening, within the trap, or in the first few feet of the pipe. That is where the vast majority of household clogs occur, which is why it solves 95% of problems. The remaining 5% of situations are those where the clog is deep in the wall pipes or in the main sewer line, clogs caused by solid objects that have fallen into the drain such as jewelry or bottle caps, root intrusion in outdoor or underground pipes, pipe damage or collapse, and situations where the drain is working fine but the vent stack is blocked, causing slow drainage even with no actual clog in the pipe itself. If you have used your drain snake multiple times on all accessible drain points in a room and the problem persists, you are probably dealing with one of these deeper issues and it is time to call a plumber. At that point, the problem genuinely does require professional equipment and expertise, but let us be very clear, you are going to encounter that situation very rarely. For the overwhelming majority of clogged drain situations you will face as a homeowner, the $3 plastic drain snake is all you need. Let us also take a moment to talk about the chemical drain cleaners, because you have probably used them or considered using them, and there is some important information you deserve to know. Products like Drano and similar chemical drain cleaners work by using highly caustic chemicals, typically sodium hydroxide, also known as lye, or sulfuric acid, to dissolve organic material in your drain. They are effective in some cases, particularly on organic clogs like hair and grease, but here is what the commercials do not tell you. These chemicals do not just dissolve the clog. They can also dissolve or damage your pipes over time, especially older metal pipes. They are genuinely dangerous to handle because the chemical reaction they cause inside the pipe generates significant heat and can cause splashing that will burn skin and eyes. They are terrible for the environment because what goes down your drain goes into the water treatment system or your septic tank, and these chemicals kill the beneficial bacteria that septic systems need to function. And perhaps most frustratingly for the consumer, they do not always work. If the clog is a dense, tangled mass of hair, the chemical may just sit on top of the clog without fully penetrating it. You end up waiting an hour, pouring in a second dose, and then calling a plumber anyway, having spent $20 on chemicals and accomplished nothing except making the plumber's job more dangerous because now there is caustic chemical sitting in your drain. The plastic drain snake has none of these downsides. It does not damage your pipes. It requires no chemicals. It is safe to handle. It is reusable for years. It costs $3. And it physically removes the clog rather than trying to dissolve it, which means you can see the problem coming out and know the job is done. From every angle, the drain snake is the superior tool for the job, and the plumbing industry's continued profitability from drain service calls depends largely on the fact that most homeowners never think to reach for it first. Now let us talk about something that goes beyond just fixing the current clog, and that is how to prevent clogs from forming in the first place, because the best way to spend $3 is to spend it before you have a problem rather than during one. The single most effective preventive measure you can take in a bathroom is a drain hair catcher. This is a small, inexpensive device, usually made of silicone or stainless steel mesh that sits over or inside your drain opening and physically catches hair before it can enter the pipe. You simply empty it after each shower or every few days. Drain hair catchers typically cost between $3 and $10, and they eliminate the primary source of bathroom drain clogs entirely. Combined with your drain snake for the occasional maintenance pass, these two inexpensive tools will keep your bathroom drains flowing freely, essentially forever. For kitchen sinks, the prevention strategy centers on changing your habits around what goes down the drain. Never pour cooking grease or oil down the drain under any circumstances. Instead, let it cool and solidify in the pan, scrape it into a container, and throw it in the trash. Run cold water when using your garbage disposal, not hot. Cold water solidifies any small grease particles so they pass through as solids, rather than coating your pipe walls as liquids. After washing greasy dishes, run hot water for an extra 30 seconds to flush any residual grease through the trap and down the drain. Another excellent preventive habit is to do a monthly maintenance flush of all your drains. Once a month, pour half a cup of baking soda down each drain, followed by half a cup of white vinegar. Let the mixture fizz and work for 5 to 10 minutes, then flush with a full kettle of hot water. This gentle chemical reaction helps break down early-stage grease and soap buildup before it has a chance to develop into a full clog. It is completely safe for your pipes, it is environmentally friendly, and baking soda and vinegar together cost almost nothing. While we are on the topic of prevention, let us talk about the garbage disposal, because this is one of the most misunderstood appliances in the modern kitchen, and it is responsible for a significant number of plumbing calls. Your garbage disposal is designed to handle small quantities of soft food waste. It is not designed to handle fibrous vegetables like celery or asparagus, whose strings can wrap around the motor. It is not designed for pasta or rice, which expand when wet and can form a paste that coats the pipe. It is not designed for coffee grounds, which seem fine because they are already small, but accumulate in the pipe trap and drainage pipe over time. It is not designed for eggshells, whose membrane layer can wrap around the grinding mechanism. And it is absolutely not designed for bones, fruit pits, or anything that is genuinely hard and solid. Sticking to these guidelines and running the disposal with cold water for a full 30 seconds after you turn it off will dramatically reduce the frequency of kitchen drain clogs. Now we want to address something that often comes up when people discover this $3 solution for the first time, and that is a sense of frustration or even anger at having paid for plumbing service calls in the past for problems that a $3 tool could have solved. That feeling is understandable, but let us give you the full picture. Plumbers are skilled professionals, and their expertise is genuinely necessary for complex plumbing problems. When your main sewer line backs up, when you have a broken pipe in the wall, when your water heater needs replacing, when tree roots have infiltrated your underground drainage system, those are situations where you need a trained professional with serious equipment and years of experience. A plumber showing up with a $200 motorized drain auger to clear a mainline clog is absolutely the right call in that situation, and the fee reflects the skill, equipment, and risk involved in the work.